Everybody, I'm a couple of minutes late, I do apologise. I'm just getting things set up now. So well, just making sure I've got everything ready. It's me now. Get this shared. Copy a link. Right, get this on the Facebook. So I'm just putting the link on Facebook. Just bear with me a second. Oh, Transit World. Oh, wait. So I'm playing ball. Transit World. So. Apologies, I keep coughing a bit. Right, there we go. That's been put on there. Right, hello. Well, hello to anyone who can join me. Just dropping on to. I thought I'd drop on. I've not had a chance to come on it recently. I've been a bit busy, been at work, and I've had my son as well, and he just takes my PlayStation over, so I don't get a look in. So I thought I would come in and take a look at the Detail Legends of the Great Western a bit further. I did have a look at it on Thursday afternoon, just to show people. I hadn't even played it, but I had a quick look. So it appears there's a bit of controversy about this add-on, and I just think it's all opinion based at the end of the day. I mean, that's just how it is, I'm afraid. I mean, I think the other thing as well is a lot of these opinions are actually from PC owners who have had the luxury, because let's be honest, they've had the luxury of modding. And unfortunately, console owners don't have that. I play on a PS4, and to be honest, a lot of people on the Facebook group, especially, do seem to use the console. The PC owners tend to stay clear of the Facebook group a little bit. They've got their own little forums and stuff. And I think people seem to forget that as console owners, we are pretty restricted in what we can and can't do, and that's just the nature of the beast, you know. And that's just how it is. So for me, this pack is very exciting, and it's quite significant. Let's be fair, it's $14.99. It's not a bank breaking, a balance breaking amount of money, and at the end of the day, we all have a choice. We don't have to buy it. I think as well, what people seem to forget really is that there is a bit more to this than just having locos. And yes, okay, people might go, oh well, you know, those locos are already out. Well, they are, as long as you already own them. So if you do have the Tees Valley, but as long as you already own them, but at the end of the day, the only locos that are original on this, bear in mind you get some variations of livery on the trains and the liveries, is the 101, which you can get on the NTP and the Tees Valley as part of the route. The 31 is an add-on to the Tees Valley. Jocko comes with the Tees Valley. Now, we'll go over to the Western a little bit. Now, the Western's the bone of contention, I think, with a few people. For me, having the weathered blue Western is brilliant. It now enables me to be able to create, especially in scenario designer, create a much more meaningful and realistic scenario in scenario designer. However, by having this pack, actually most of the work's already been done for me, because DTG have created a good timetable mode, and I'm going to go into that in a second. A relatively good timetable mode. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it could be better. Let's turn that precipitation down. I'm trying to match the weather to what it's like outside at the moment, which is, it's not raining, but it's certainly damp. Now, to me, the Western, in its weather blue form, is nice. It looks nice. And also, I've noticed by driving it, it is slightly different to the maroon one that you get on Western Somerset Railway. Remember, you have to buy the maroon Western Somerset Railway one separately to this one. So I think people need to divide it a little bit and think, well, hang on, I've already got the maroon one. Yeah, you might have, I have. but it's a separate engine. It's a different engine built for a different route. This is, to me, it's almost like a new engine. Although, yes, okay, or people could argue, oh, well, it's just a Western reskin. Well, it probably is. But there are some characteristical differences I've noticed with this engine in general. So they've obviously done something to it, and I'm not going to argue. Also, if you already own the NTP route, or the NTP route, you do get the 47/4 and the 45/1 in this as well. So you've got a good variation of traction there. The 101 has got formations different. So you can have, I think you can have a double set. I think it's a 3-car or a 6-car double set. And I've tried to work on my own ones at the moment, but I've not quite finished them yet. So I'm working at an NSA. Oh, and it shows you the wrong side. So I'm working on an NSA at the moment, but I haven't got there yet. I'm also looking at a Metcam one. Again, it shows you the wrong side. But so you get, and that's the other thing as well, just slightly changing it. You also now get the ability to be able to edit the 31, the DMU, the Jarko, and the Western in livery editor, which you didn't have before. So there's also that as well. So I think people need to understand that as well. And again, this is where the frustration lies about that. But there's still more to it. There's still more to it. There's still more things you need to understand. The timetable. So I'm going to go back to the. I'm going to go to class 31. And I'll tell you why, because this is something that we don't have. So you think at the moment, the class 31, if you don't have this, all you can do, okay, is drive dragging DMUs and drive freight trains. So, for the first time, you can actually drive a proper local haul train with a 31. Now, although I must confess, I have checked on the scenario designer, and as of yet, the ability to drive the 31 with coaches in any of scenario, including the Great Western, isn't there. But then I didn't have off the rails mode either, but I didn't think I'd have to. But that's another story. So, let's go into the class 31. So the class 31 has a lot of local services. So it's been it's fundamentally used for short journeys, mostly Dick Parkways, as you can see there, and they are run on the relief lines. So whether they've saved the Western for the fast line stuff, the express stuff, they've saved the 101 and the 31 for the relief line stuff, which is good because it's nice having some local ward stuff for a change. I've tried to create some local ward relief line stuff in my own scenarios. So we're going to go with this 2 November 06 Dick Parkway service. So I'm going to go into this one, 1520 off Paddington. With the class 31. I've not driven the 31 for a while, and I've not driven it on a proper passenger train for ages, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit, I think. Let me just have a look at my. Just got to make sure this link's gone through. So I'm just furiously typing. So right, so here we are, class 31. I'm going to get myself. So the first thing you notice is the first thing you've got to do is uncouple vehicles. Well, that's new. So what you've got to do is you've got to detach the rear loco. So obviously, for those that don't understand, obviously back in local haul days, things weren't top and tailed. You didn't have a cab at both ends. So an engine brought coaches in. Yeah. And then obviously they would need another engine would take them out. So if you take a look at this at this present moment in time, so we've coupled up now already, but unfortunately at the other end, not unfortunately, there is also another engine. Now we don't run top and tailed, so this has got to be uncoupled. So the easiest way to uncouple it for me is go to free camera, instead of getting out and walking, get to free camera and then unbox it. Done. So, next thing, open the door. So, good thing is with the not having the door control buttons like you do on units is that you can just unlock doors. So let's get the cab set up on the class 31. I'm going to turn the lights on. Now I do use a combination of manual controls using the cursor on my controller and the keyboard. So I'm going to press L, turn the lights on so I can see what I'm doing. I'll put H, put my headlights on, and I'll put I to tell my instrument so I can see what I'm doing there. So usual thing when you set a cab up on 31, as you do with any loco, Oh, hang on, before I do anything, I'm going to set my AWS up. I do also use the safety systems. Set up the AWS, you need to unisolate, turn the isolation off. Then you need to change the end over so you know you have the AWS. You then have to cancel it. Oh, boom. Okay, and then, oh, I can lock the doors. So we're ready to go. But I ain't set up yet, so let's now turn my master key on, reverse into forward, pull my brake off. So interestingly as well on this is you also get go vias now, which is interesting. As well as the stations, you also get go vias. So my first station is in Broadway. So oh, class 46. So yeah, that's the other thing. If you've got the interview, like I said, you also get random. You don't just get Westerns, you'll get the 47s and the 45s coming in as well, with a lovely array of blue Mark 2s. Non-air conditioned, obviously, Mark 2Bs. Right, brake off. I'm ready to go. Let's open that brake up. Let's open that power up. And, oh, but the wheel spin under the wet rail. Not good there. Oh. My brake's still not come down. That's took forever to come down, look. I've just noticed it here, look. Ah. See, not used to driving this engine at all, and I've never driven it on a passenger train before, so obviously I've so much brake going through the system. There we go. And we are off. So, let's have a quick look through. Let's get moving. I've had a wheel spin activation, that's why I've got that yellow light. It should reset when I come to a stand. So I'm just going to turn off my hood because I tend not to have it on. I know them through the back of my hand, so let's get going. Let's open the window for a bit of fresh. I've chose well, it's gone misty for some reason, quite a cloudy day. So let's just power up to 40 now. I know there's quite a lot of in the rail enthusiast fraternity. You do get quite a few people who are not very big fans of Class 31s. I could take them or leave them. In reality, I'm not overly. They don't excite me in any way at all. But I have to admit, driving this, it does sound pretty nice when you get it going full bore. Although this seems to take a while to get to 40. Let's go. So we've got, I think, what we got. 5 Mark 2s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the first time I've actually got to drop to 31 on a proper passenger train instead of dragging a DMU, which is good. But like I said earlier, at the moment we don't have the luxury of being able to use wheels and rails on. So that was my objective complete. So the next one now is the station. So it's almost like you've released the train up. Maybe it's the way they have to write the timetable mode. So because obviously you've uncoupled the rear engine. So what will happen is, just to kind of put you in the picture, the rear engine, now released, is another service in itself. You can then drive that engine out and take it to Old Oak, or, yeah, I think you have to go to Old Oak with it, and then you can bring another engine back in. So there is quite a lot of potential to do a good shift and have a run around, not just the trades, but also the locos. There's me saying I'm struggling to get to 40, then I get to 40 and now I've got to slow it down. So, all fun and games. A bit misty this morning, but it's not wet. So I'm on a semi-fast local hauled stopping service with the Class 31. The disappointing thing about this pack, but I understand why, because it's not the pack, it's the route, is it's showing we've still got all the overhead wires, but you've also got to remember the signalling would have been different as well, because all the signaling's changed. So you would have had to have, and everything else would have changed. The general, you know, the buildings and the line, the way the line's laid out would all be different. So it'd be virtually impossible to. It'd be a completely different route. You'd have to completely rewrite the route for it to be the same as it is in the 70s. And I'm yabbering away, and I actually need to speed up. So yeah, it's all fun and games. get moving. So it's now another thing you need to understand is differences in variable speed. So we all know that with your multiple units, your 166 you get to 90, but actually when it comes to local water stuff it's slightly different. So at the moment the maximum speed on this line is 80, and then after slow, bizarrely, it drops to 60, which is interesting. No one listens to it, of course, and you're not penalised for it either, which is a bit disappointing. I'd like to think that they try and make it that realistic enough so that you do have to abide by the variable speeds. So we should see a few things in Old Oak, because you get a few engines, you even get a bit of coaching stock, because you get one of the timetables is you can get a Gronk Class 8 and you can bring the stock into Paddington, so that'd be always be fun. There's also scenarios, we've got to remember as part of this pack you get scenarios as well. Now I don't use a mercy mode, and unfortunately you need to have a mercy mode. Oh, what's going on here with the graphics? Oh, there we go. So you've got, a couple of engines there, a couple of 45s, a Gronk, a Western. It's a shame this isn't busier, but it's still good. Yeah, it's still good to see a few locals. What's that? Another Gronk there. A couple more locals over there, look. So quite a few bits and pieces around. Coaching start looking sidings. Yeah, very good. So they've tried to kind of capture. I mean, they're limited with the engine. It's a shame. Like, it'd be nice if like we get a Class 50 eventually. That would be really helpful. And then the people who talk about the Blue HSC, but I think what you've got to remember is that yes, the Blue HSCs came in 1976, but that was to replace the Westerns, and it meant the 50s started to start doing more secondary services. So it's probably not quite periodic if there was HSTs. It's a fine line because you're looking at this is probably more aimed at 75. But then it'd be nice if you consider prototype HST with the road, but that's another story, isn't it? That's a proper variation itself. So that's active main line. Next stop is Ealing Broadway. It says there. So this should be interesting because I've never driven a passenger train with 31 before, so I'm not sure how it's going to respond. So once we get past Acton Yard, I'll shut up and start thinking about braking as I am going in the 60. So let's put a bit of brake on. Once we start approaching Ealing Broadway, about what, 3/4 of a mile away? Like I said, I do know this route really, really well, but of course what I don't know well is how to drive a Class 31 with a passenger train. This is a first for me, for sure, today. I was meaning to do it, it's not a chance. I thought, well, while I'm live, I might as well have a few giggles and people can watch me mess it up. But fastly approaching Ealing Broadway, doing 50, it's not horrendously quick. Not uber quick, but it's still a bit quick for me, for local. But it's air braked as well. We're an air brake train, unlike the vacuum brake trains that I've had to be driving in Scenario Designer. I've been driving on Class 33 with Mark 1s, which is a lot harder to start. But yeah, brought it down to a good steady speed actually. I'm quite impressed with that. So it has come down. Just get that brake down a little bit. I don't want it to stop short. That brake does not want to release quick, does it? As soon as you get that air in, it's really difficult to get it out. Look at that. I mean, I'm just going to come to. I mean, luckily the train. I'll be stopping short from the stop mark, but the train should be in clear. Oh well. I'll let it does. But that's a bit. So that's the brake is really. Oh no, I haven't stopped in clear. Ooh, one coach off the end. Yeah, that is really disappointing. You can't seem to flick the brakes off very well at all. They don't seem to want to come off very quick, so it's interesting. Someone's also commented on the coach numbers. I think because of 5 numbers and like some of these very similar numbers to what HST cars, but that one isn't. Now, you have to remember as well is that pre-HST there were some long numbers on these Mark IIs, but once the H like that one 1 2 3 4 5, which is a random number, but then once HSTs came along, they started to renumber a lot of these coaches, and they became shorter. I think a lot of them just dropped the 1 off, or dropped the 1 and the 3 off, you know. So I think that's something that people need to bear in mind. Right, let's get gone. Even though I stopped a bit short. Yeah, so that was a bit of a poor stop there, unfortunately. But it's all about getting used to it. So the next stop's Southall. But that brake really doesn't want to release very quick. Look at that. It takes forever to get released. Now, why is it taking so long? Rolling. Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's realistic or not, but it seems to take him forever to release the brakes on his 31. And this is where you've got to be a bit careful here, because I've just had the situation where I've stopped short because the brakes just wouldn't let me roll. Whereas other trains, you tend to be able to just slap the brakes off, and then you'll just draw down. Admittedly, I've been driving units and stuff recently, and obviously that gets you become a bit lazy. Alright, let's open up a bit. Next stop, Southall, which is, what, a couple of mile away? A couple of 3 mile away? Yeah, anything I'm doing? Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Just have a quick look around the 31 cab while we're here. So, obviously that's your AWS cancel button, which I'd like to use. Well, other than setting up the cab, that's your horn. Obviously that's your windscreen wipers. Apparently. No? Yeah. Oh, there you go. I must be going too far. Right, okay. So that's your windscreen wipers. Oh god, really slow. Well, stop there. We'll park it. Obviously then you've got your brake handle. That's your loco brake. Do that. And none of them work. Obviously your reverse, obviously your power handle. You've got your DRA. Engine stop. I'm going to say these are DRAs. Engine stop, engine start. These are just lights, so these are lights. Cab light, yeah. Cab light, and I assume that's the route indicator lights. Oh, instrument light. Which I used, which obviously I pressed the button for. The wheel slip light's not going out. That's your wheel slip light, that's not going out. As you can see, you get a repeater. You've got a different gauge here, look, which is your brake pressure. Speedometer. Your main gent, that shows your amps. So at the moment we're at what? 13, what's that? 13, 50 amps. That's the power, that's the electric power that's going to the traction motors that gives you the move. That's brake, that's your chamber, that's a vacuum chamber, so that shouldn't move. Whilst you're in an air brake train, I don't think that moves. That's your brake for your bogies, which is, as we saw, there's obviously your bar, your PSI bar. Right, that's handwell, so I'm going to, right, let's do a bit of experimentation. Get the power off as we approach Southall. Handwell Viaduct, it's a Handwell Viaduct. So we're doing 60 at the moment. I'm just going to put initial brake on. Yeah. So that's your bogie brake going up, your brake pot pops in. Just to slow the train down a bit. Pull it straight off again. It comes off relatively quick. I think if you've got a lot of brake in it, it tends to be a bit more difficult to release. Train's coming down, we're at 54 mile an hour, put a bit more brake in there, a bit on the initial just to get the train slowed down a bit, might put a bit more brake in I think. So I don't want to put too much brake on because then I end up with the problem where I stop short. So it really is a fine art. Just pull the brake off again, because at least that way if I can release early enough, I might have a little bit more control over the brakes when I get into the platform. It's either that or just learning how to be able to brake finding the braking distance for the 31. But look, the brakes taking forever to come off. And now I'm just starting to, I'll be coming to a stand sure in a minute. Right, they're coming off now. See, when they get past 20, they seem to suddenly zing down, but it's that gap between 40 and 20 just seems to take forever. So now I'm like crawling along at 26 miles an hour, scared to use my brakes. I don't know, is that a characteristic of the Class 31? Oh, I don't know. It just seems like a really heavy braking at the moment. Whether that's because I did something wrong on settle, I don't know. I might need to look into that. But I can't see how. Steadily coming into Southall, I'm running... Oh, didn't tell what time I'm doing. Oh, interesting. So, let's put a bit of brake on. Hopefully this should come to a relatively steady stand. Not too sure. God, look at that. God, these brakes are so hard to use, so unpredictable, look. And look at that, I've hardly put the brakes on, I've literally come to a stand. See if I can roll. Get some power on, get moving, see if I can draw up a bit. Quick, quick, quick. So I'm still moving. There we go. Yeah, so a bit of a fine art with these brakes. Really, really weird. I've never known an air brake train be so difficult to stop or start in some cases. I want to make sure I've got the right... I mean, you'd like to think body full, the settings are all right. You're on a passenger train. But I might... Look, I feel like I've got a... I don't think I've got a problem. Oh, I've stopped in the right place almost. But well, I say I've stopped in the right place. Actually, the place you need to stop. So, just a quick little thing just to let you know. When you stop at a stop board, the actual registered place to stop is the door. So the S board needs to be along at the door, and that is the where they expect you to stop. Yeah. So let's get this brake down so I can get a good. I can start releasing it now, because otherwise I'm never going to get gone. It just feels like it's taking forever to come off. Have I got the right brake chosen? Ah, let's have a quick look. Oh, look at this. It's set on goods, look. Oh, for God's sake. No wonder. Ah, so there you go, look. That's the problem. No wonder the brakes are... Oops. No wonder the brakes take forever to come off. Oh. Oh, look, there you go, look. I assume it was... Yeah. Look, at the brakes suddenly jump forward. Oh, here we go. That's why. Oh. Now what's he doing? Them brakes are stuck on. Oh. Are they? Oh no. The brakes are on. Why have they not come off? Oh. Then my brakes have come on and they're coming, and now they're going on further and further as I go along. What's going on here? Look. They're coming on more and more, look. Or is that... Yeah, the brakes squealing. And look, I've got back... Oh, I've got vacuum brakes on, look. Hang on. Hang on. Let's come to a stand. But this is turning into a bit of a nightmare, isn't it, look? But I suppose these are the things that happened. So let's... I've got vacuum brake on now, look. Right. Let's get up. Let's have a look at this. So, what have I got? So, compressor changeover switch, vacuum brake only. I'm not on vacuum brake. I should only be on passenger air brake, shouldn't I? And it says there I'm on air passenger brake. Right? That's vacuum. That's vacuum goods. That's air goods, which is what I was on originally. Air passenger. Right. I might have to do a brake test. Hold the line. So I've now got a vacuum. For some reason, I've now got a vacuum. I never had that before. So let's shut it off. Ah, right. Come on. It's shut off mode. Right. Let's just do a quick. I've got power still on. Oh, you can see I'm panicking now. Right, let's shut it down. Oh, shut the desk down. Right. Desk shut down. I appear to have some vacuum in the system, but that could be to hold the loco. Just... Right, that's the air brake for the... Right, so let's set the cab back up. Right, I'm going to get to engine only at the moment. Open my air brake. Close my air brake. Let's just... Right, shove it into forward. Put it onto full service, let the air build up. So you can see my air's building up. It's gone to 3.5 bar. That's full hold. That's a hold. So let's start to drop this brake down. There we go. So I now have brake continuity. The vacuum has gone to 0. That one's still there. That's because it'd be in the engines. I've got that one there. Oh, it's just in the chamber. And I can't move. It's not moving at all. I've got no brake. I've got no. Oh, the brake's just squealing. Look, it's dragging the brakes. It's literally dragging brakes. Look. Right. Literally dragging the brakes. So there's been a bit of a catastrophic issue here. No idea what's going on. So I defaulted into this service and it looks like the vacuum goods was done. So I'm going to restart this because it's absolutely knackered up. There's nothing I can do. I'm shutting it, bar short of shutting the actual engine down. The brakes have just got themselves all confused. So no idea what's gone on. So basically what had happened was I'm spawned into this train and by default air goods was the default brake. So as I'm driving along, it's horrendous to brake, and I'm going, well, hang on, this shouldn't be happening with an air brake Mark II. They should be very responsive. The brake should come off quick. So because it's the first time I've driven it, I didn't realise, and now I've realised. So let's redo the setup. We'll have a quick look now and redo the setup. Which is a little bit annoying. Right, let's go. So it says there, I'm an air goods. So let's swap this to air brake before we uncouple that engine. Right. And I'm going to set this train up. I'm going to set the train up. Well, it tells you to uncouple the vehicle, doesn't it? Now, do I uncouple the vehicle before or after? Let's uncouple it now. Because the thing is, this engine also would have air in it, so I'm wondering if maybe this had something to do with the reason why I wasn't getting the right. So that's uncoupled. So now it's unlocking the doors. Well, let's unlock the doors then. Right, and let's get this cab set up. So I'll turn the cab light on, turn my instrument light on, turn my headlights on. Let's just set up my AWS. Just drop this there. The vacuum's gone, which is good. Let's get this set up. Lovely. Done. Ready to go. Right. Beautiful. I have brake. So that's worked. Oh, good grief. That was a bit of a worry, wasn't it? So yeah, so you have to make sure then that you switch to air goods before you do anything else. As you found out, if you've just been watching the difficulties I had without it, look at that, straight out. Oh, that's a lot better. Oh, look at that. It's literally racing out of Paddington now. Just open the window, get a bit of fresh. That's a lot better. So there we go. It looks like you've got to be careful. Hopefully now I can actually drive it properly. Yeah, so anyway, whilst cruising on, let's go back to the controversies. There's a lot of people who like I say, are a bit annoyed because of the fact that they think they're being ripped off with this. I can't see how, in reality, it's 15 quid. Come on. And you're getting a re-liveried, reskinned Western with proper timetable on a high-speed route. You're also getting the 31 on proper local haul trains. You're getting lots of light engine movements both in and out of London to start to drive like proper trains, coupling up to trains, uncoupling as you've just seen, uncoupling trains, releasing engines. Brilliant, really good. Look at empty stop moved from with jockos and stuff shunted. Scenario's got some interesting things. Admittedly I won't play them because you have to play in immersive mode. I don't like immersive mode because as you can see I use manual mode. But yeah, pretty good. I like it. I'm quite happy to pay 15 quid for it, and I'm quite happy to it. But look, like I was saying earlier, people go, oh well, if you've already got the Western, you've got the... What if you don't have the Western or the 31? If you don't have, not everyone has got the add-ons. I think people assume everybody's all got the add-ons. No, not everybody has. And we all know a lot of this is down to your PC modders who basically can't show off anymore because there's not modded. Well, they can't show off, and they have to find something new to mod. And that is literally what it's all about. At the end of the day. Let's go. So currently driving past 31 with 5 Mark 2s on the relief lines on the semi-fast to Reading on the train to Lincoln, which is a first. And this time I've got the right braking system, so go. I'm going a bit too. I mean, it's 50 up to 80. I'm just going to keep it open and keep going. No point me trying to shut off and slow down for the sake of a couple of. Yeah, well, it's 80 now anyway, isn't it? So here we go. But personally, if you like driving local haul trains and you want to drive at a bit of speed with a bit of variation, I think this is the route to do it on. This is actually my favourite route. But people might go, oh, well, I can say that. Well, actually, I can, because it's a fast route. You've got 4 tracks. You can drive different types of services. You can do different types of things. And now, obviously, the amount of different attractions that's available to do it, even with scenario designer, you can do virtually anything now. Old Oak looking nice and busy there, or busy-ish. So all those engines will do something. They're not just stood there. They actually do something. It'd be nice to get a bit more into that. A bit of proper railway. So my next stop is in Broadway. No times of what time you get there. Interestingly. It's Central Fast Service to, well, the particular part where we take as far as Reading. Boldly powering up to nearly 70 now, which is good, but obviously can't get too excited because you will be stopping at Ealing Broadway very shortly. Still got a couple of miles left. Yep, just under 2 miles. Like I say, I know this route very, very well. I know you get used to your braking points with certain trains. This is like I said, it's the first time I've driven the 31. If you were watching earlier, I was driving it with air goods, which had been set by default when I spawned in. I realised that because I realised the braking was just was poor for an air brake passenger train. So obviously once I realised that, I changed it, but then it messed up, so I restarted. Right, let's start thinking about slowing down for Reading Broadway. Hopefully this time I won't be able to stop in the right place. Brake on. There you go, brake response is a lot quicker. Still takes a bit of time to come off, but it still comes off quicker than it did. Fast approaching now, it's got some brake back on. I was just testing how quick the brakes come off. I'm coming to really a little bit too hard. I'm learning to have to fettle the brake a little bit because I don't want to stop short either. But I also want to stop. So it's finding that balance. Doing too bad, 45, 40. Yeah, still feel like I'm at a comfortable speed. 35. Blow off a bit of brake. Yeah, brake drop. Oh, that's lovely. That needle's dropping down nice now. I like that. So it's dropping down a lot quicker than it was. And now I'm going to have to put the brake back in. It is really learning how to best feather this brake. Ooh. Get that brake off. Come on, roll, roll, roll. Yeah. So that's a lot better. So a lot better than it was. Again, it's just getting used to it. It's because of my brain still thinking, oh, the response to the brake's crap, the response to the brake's crap. But let's just draw forward to the stop board. But the brake comes off a lot quicker now, so that's good to know. It's this was a bit of a test, really. There we go. It's a lot better. Again, like I was saying earlier, the stop board ideally needs to be at the door for it to be 100%. But hey. So that's that one done. So that was a lot better. That was a hell of a lot better. A lot more responsive. Blew off a lot faster. Obviously, I had to draw forward slightly because I was just trying to gauge how much brake I needed. But hopefully for safe I'll have a much better understanding of the braking, and I should be able to just whiz off. The train loading's really quick. Don't take long at all. Right, let's get them locked. Get that brake off. Stage 1 while I'm waiting. There we go, the brake release isn't uber quick, it's a lot quicker than it was, but then I can just brakes off now and just open up. Next stop, safe all. Like I said, I've never been a massive fan of Class 31 to be honest. I used to do it quite a lot where I used to live in the Midlands, in Birmingham. Go past on Norwich services. I think the sprinters became a bit more common when I was a lot younger. But I had a couple of various in between and gap, you know, when you were going from A to B, just to find a better train, if that made sense. So I've never really been a massive fan of 31 to be honest. But it's nice to have a loco to drive. Planned loco to drive. Sometimes, the one thing I will say about these Legends is the times over could be a bit thicker. There doesn't seem to be a lot of rain. But hey, that's not to say it can't be adapted. And although it looks like you've got a lot of services on the timetable mode, actually a lot of them are like loco moves, so they're quite short. But then the good thing is you can, I don't know, spawn into a train at an engine at Old Oak, take it to London, jump onto a stop that's waiting for you, you change engine, you take that to Reading, stand and wait for a train, go back. Once you get back to London, then that engine will hook, you take over that engine, or you take the train out, or whatever you want to do, and then you take the engine back to Old Oak. So you can have a pretty varied shift. Take a local service, you know, That was West Ealing, line to the right goes towards Greenford, and joins the Chiltern Main Line. And this is Hamwell siding, so in modern day you see a lot of 387s sat here and 345s. Yeah, okay, so fast approaching Hamwell, next stop Southall. Let's hope these brakes are working properly now. Like I say, I am set on air passenger, so you have to make sure your air passenger brake is set. It's not set by default when you spawn in, and then you'll find yourself having problems. But it certainly feels a lot better now that I've sorted that little problem out. Nice little run along there. Although I've got to be careful, Southall is my next stop, and it's only about just under 3/4 of a mile, I'd say. Oh no, a mile and a half, sorry. Ooh, steps up again, as the amps raise. I've chosen a cloudy day because I'm trying to replicate what it's like outside my window at the moment, so that may account for some of the frame work. Right, let's power off now as we fast approach Southall. And now that I've got my air passenger brakes working, I'm a bit more confident now. We'll actually stop in the right places. Give it a brake in the chamber. There's the road bridge, the overbridge just appeared at the Southall station. Doing 60, but still coming down at a relatively good pace. Brake on. Going quite quick. Yeah, the brake is responding a hell of a lot better than it does on air goods. It just seems to take forever to come off. There we go. And quite nicely now. Southall's platform is actually shorter than you think it is. Seems to be rolling in at a relatively nice pace. I'm enjoying this pace. Much easier to control. Really want to try and get quicker as I'm trying to get used to this train that I haven't driven. It's the first time I've driven a local Class 31. And there we are. I know I've got past the stop board after all that, but I'm here. I've stopped. I've driven 3,100 miles. Oh yeah, I've done some freight train moves on Tees Valley, haven't I? Forgot about that. I say I don't use 31 a lot, but I thought I'd give it a go with the passenger train. I don't like driving the freight trains much. I do drive them on top, depends what mood I'm in. They seem to last forever and I get bored. I like having the variety and stuff. These are pretty quick stops. These services. Next stop's Hayes Knighton, which is literally around the corner. Get the doors locked, get the brake off. Move up to notch 2. Once that brake comes off and get going. This is something I learnt to do with when you're on Tees Valley dragging the DMU. Put the power onto notch 1, and then once that brake comes off, it will start to launch into. There we go, and let's go. So this is the South 31 that you see on the Tees Valley. Theoretically, but this time you're pulling Mark 2s, which is the first. This is the first time you've been able to pull them on a proper local board passenger train, not just dragging a DMU, which is always good. Let's go. So 90 is the speed that all trains can go, but of course this is restricted, and this is 90 maximum speed. That's good to know. Whether we get to it, I don't know. We're going to try, but I think we're going to get to it before Slayer though, because the problem is I think after Slayer it's for local. I think it's 60, which seems a bit weird considering the line's pretty much the same. But I think it is anyway. I'd have to have a look. Have a look at the stock boards. I mean, technically I could do 90 because that's actually the the DTG maximum speed as in what the indicator will show, but I want to go the variable speed that the train's designed to go on. Yeah, not seen a lot of trains pass. Which is a little bit disappointing. No trains have passed me, and I haven't passed. Not many trains have passed. Other than the 47 arriving in as I was leaving. I'm not really. Oh no, I saw a 101. There was a 101, wasn't somewhere. It was around Ealing somewhere. There's Hayes Aggregates in the distance, which might be best for me to start powering off. Otherwise, stop at Hayes and Harlington. I think the next stop after this is Slough. Braking. Ooh, we're a bit hot here. Brakes are responding okay. Oh, I've got sweet it. Look at that. I talk and then a train comes through. Got a DMU there, look, standing. Oh, just departed or just stood on the platform. I'm working on a Network South East 101 at the moment. So my plan was to have an NSE scenario for this. So I was going to have NSE liveried 101s, I was going to have NSE liveried coaches. I've already started doing a Mark 2. However, obviously the Western wouldn't be an appropriate... Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Too busy yabbing. The Western wouldn't really be an appropriate engine to... Oops. Don't ask me what I was doing there. But, by pure fluke, I have stopped. That was a fluke. But the problem is the Western isn't really an appropriate engine to use on a Network South East. I wanted to use the 47, but at the moment in scenario designer you can't use the 47 with my NSE coaches. You can use a Western, and the other thing is on scenario designer on any route you can't use the 31 with Mark 2s, which is a little bit disappointing. I thought you would have been able to, considering this you can do it in service mode. So until that happens, all I can really do is DMUs. So, and I've got to finish it anyway because I've not finished it yet. So I'm going to do a bit of work on that in the next few days. But that's kind of one of the things I want to do. I'm also waiting for the 166 to be available in to delivery designer as well, so that I can get that in Network South East and I can have a proper mixed traffic sort of NSE day. Because you can have a mix of DMUs and 166 as they did run together whilst the cascade was happening. Alright, let's go. What's the next station? Oh no, stop at West Road. Then Slough. So I got another short shrift run through. Yeah, so one thing I want to say, it would be nice to see a few more services running round. The one other thing I do like as well, which is you don't get with the Western, the Maroon Western, is the Maroon Western only replicates preserved locomotives, and there's no nameplates on most of them. Whereas what they've done here is they've actually got, you can actually generate virtually any Western that was created and the appropriate nameplate. So that's good. That's good as well. So that, obviously a lot of work's gone into that, but the Western is the main featured loco with this thing. The blue Western at least, anyway. Airport Junction, fly over from Heathrow. Obviously that wouldn't have been there in the mid-70s. Fast approaching West Drayton, so I better power off and start putting some brake on. so I ended up with the same situation I had earlier. Haze. I know I knew what I was doing there. Just time powering. With the local stuff, I tend to try and bring the train under control a little bit, so it doesn't look like I'm going slower than what I actually am, but I think my theory is I'd rather be going a bit slower, so I've got a bit more control. And there's that split signal. I actually did. Now, as most of you might know, there used to be, or there was, or there still is, a bug where, because the split signal, you'd have a green if the lower aspect, which is for when you diverge onto the diverge over, would obviously always be yellow. You get the horn on the AWS magnet, but I actually got a I think that's a 31 there. I actually got a bell on that signal once. Yeah, it's like a 31 with low coat. That could be the service that may have left at a very similar time. It's just leaving now. Look, West Ealing's a strange station engine. Again, it's got a perception of having a longer platform than it actually has, because it's a bit staggered as well. Because it's staggered, I think you think, oh yeah, got loads, but oh no, I haven't, because it finishes abruptly there. Look, as you can see, you literally got to stop at the building, or just before the building. There we go. Lovely, not too bad. Again, like I said earlier, ideally you want to be stopped. Your cab door needs to be lined up with the S. But you know, yeah. I'm still trying to get used to the braking on this, so a couple of more goes, I think I'll be a lot more confident. I mean, even that is 496, and the S-board's there, so you can see how much more further you've got to move forward to get that 500. But the passenger load is really quick as well, absolutely rapid. Let's get the brake off. Oh. Notch on the power, and keep going. Next stop is Slough, so I've got a bit of a run now between now and Slough. Wonder if we can get to 90. What do you reckon, boys and girls? 90 is on the offing. A 31 with 5 Mark 2s. Could it be done before we get to Slough? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go. Not really had the opportunity before now because of the stopping distances. It would be nice if we've got a few. Let's have a look, see if there's any trains around. Like I said earlier, there doesn't seem to be many trains around. Past that 31 earlier. Nothing seems to be chasing us, which I'm really surprised about. What's that DMU? Oh yeah, the other DMU. There's been nothing for that London at all. Well, good. Let's see if I can get to 83, British Warrior. 83 would be nice. Just trying to find other trains at the moment. Oh, it's for the PSR. You know, the strange thing was, I was just thinking, I think there's a PSR reminder coming up in a minute. So that horn was for the PSR for a... Actually, what was it for? Just fast forwarding a little bit. I've got my video live and just rewound it to have a quick look. Yeah, British Warrior. Just approaching Hiver. What are we at? 60? But when you say you've got 83 out of 31, what on this? Or see, it says 60 there. Interesting. So technically I should only be doing 60 according to that board. That might be what the regress was for. But I'm going to keep going. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. It seems to be, I think it was, so I'm supposed to be doing 60 at the moment. That's the actual maximum permissible speed for this sort of train. But I'm not going to get penalised for it, so I'm going to keep going. Going to keep going. Yeah. Well, I would assume that the only way you would have got that would have been probably between Twyford and Maidenhead, because that's the only place I can think of, if you depending on where it stops, of course, where you can get a good run. I doubt I'm going to get it now. I mean, I'm at what, 76 through Langley at the moment, and I've got to start. Powering off in a minute. So that's probably the only place you're going to get it. But technically we're speeding because you're not supposed to be going above 60. 60 is the maximum permissible speed for this type of train on this line. So we are technically speeding. But hey, let's have fun, eh? Who's going to tell us off? Yeah, let's have a look at... Right, so as I approach Dolphin Junction, it is now... I mean, I'm at 8, what am I on now? 79. I'm a little bit... Yeah, look, what's that? 60. So we're only supposed to be doing 60. So I'm gonna pull off anyway because I've got to start slowing down. So I got to 80 at the moment, which ain't too bad. So I'm getting a bit conscious of approaching slow, a little bit hot. So, and I'm not slowing down. Put some brake on. Oh, next stop's Maidenhead. Oh, brilliant. So probably have to do it then. That'll be a good run. That's a good run between Slough and Maidenhead. Yeah, probably have to get it then. Oh, coming in really, really hot. There, this is some speed. That's the AWS magnet to the 40, which you don't go over. Oh God, I'm looking for. I'm going to stop here. Yeah, coming in way too fast. Yeah. Far short putting the emergency on, that is overshot. Yeah, so that's a lesson to be learned. Well, there'll be some coaches in the thing, so I'm going to open them anyway. Yeah, it's not too bad, look. Oh, it's not too bad, it's only a coach. Oh, it's not even a coach length. Oh, that's not too bad then. I'll cope with that. Shut the door. So people don't fall out. There we go. Right. I'll cope with that. Let's get that breakdown. But that's probably the reason why things aren't supposed to go that fast. So yeah. So I got to 80, and then I had to slop off, and I probably didn't put enough brake on, to be fair. Being a bit windy. Right, let's get going. Brake off. Power on. Let's open it up now. We're going uphill as well. I've got to be careful, you are going uphill. So next stop's Maidenhead, so let's give it some beans. So just if you're watching, the maximum permissible speed for this type of train along this stretch of track is actually 60. But I'm going to give it the beans, and the maximum speed is 90 for this loco. So and you can do 90 with the multiple unit, so it can't be too bad. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna see how fast we can get. Now you do climb between basically Slough and Reading. You are climbing slightly. Not yet, but you do start to climb. I remember this from HST days. From driving the HSTs, having to drive them a certain way to maintain the 125. So, as our next up is Maidenhead, let's open her up and see how fast we can get. Mind you, I'm saying that between Maidenhead and Twyford you might be able to get 83. I have to admit, with a turbo, the best I could get, well, mind you saying that, that was pre-True Tracer War 2, and I've not tried it since, was 86, so could actually be quicker with the uprated turbo. Magnet, Twyford, and then ready. Ah, lovely. So we get a bit of a run now, which is good. So you get to stretch your legs a little bit now with the 31. See, it says there, look, very clearly, 60. Now that is for this train. Only multiple units should be doing, not up to 90. So actually, you should only be doing 6 mile an hour along here. But, hey, let's be naughty. Let's be a bit rebellious. PlayStation's absolutely. I've got a PS4 Pro. It sounds like it's about to take off. There's Burnham Station, that's the first station inside Slough. Currently doing, what's that, 68, 69? The next station's Taplow and then it's Maidenhead. And again, like I say, it is a slight climb, as you can see, 1 in 19. Or 1 in 19, yeah. Or 1 in 19. So it is a bit of a climb. Hopefully should get to past 80 before Taplow, before Maidenhead. But I would like to stop in the station this time. Although I was only barely a coach length, I was quite impressed with that. I think sometimes you think it feels like you're going faster than you are, and go by. There we go, we've got 70, what's that, 77? 76? If I took a couple of coaches off, I'd probably go a bit faster. Maybe I should uncouple a couple of coaches if Paddington goes like a 1+3. That's Taplow. Now, Maidenhead's probably what, about a mile and a half? Yeah, just under 2 mile. So we got, what's this? 78. Gradients just petering out slightly, it's not too bad. I am aware that I've got Maidenhead in the very near future. Am I brave enough to try and go a bit faster? I don't think I am. 81. That's 82. I really need to think about stopping there. That's 82, but the question is though, I may have got 22, but will I stop at Maidenhead? That's the problem. It's alright saying, oh, you got 82, but will you stop? And I'm going to say no, probably not. Got the emergency on me. Oh, hey, what's that? Oh, that's interesting. Leaving you in the back platform. Oh, look at that. Nah. So that's interesting. Sailing straight through Maidenhead. Yeah, that's a bit of a fail, isn't it, really? That's probably why you're supposed to do 60. Right, well I fluffed that up completely, so after all that I fluffed it up, so I'm going to quit that, I'm afraid. Right. And with that I'm going to call it a day. After all that, take it easy.